Hello and welcome. You're watching UATV News with me, Ksenia Buhai. First at this hour, Russia has to withdraw its troops from the temporarily occupied Crimea and return the territory of the peninsula under Ukraine's control. The UN General Assembly adopted the enhanced draft resolution on Crimea. The document was prepared on the basis of the last two reports made by Secretary General of the United Nations. They documented numerous facts of massive violations of human rights on the territory of the temporarily occupied peninsula. In the updated resolution, the international community plans to strengthen interaction in order to put pressure on Russia. The resolution was not supported by 17 countries, in particular Armenia, Belarus, China, Serbia, Sudan and Russia. 63 states voted in favor. Among them are the USA, Great Britain, Turkey, Germany and France. The number of COVID-19 cases is decreasing in Ukraine. 8,641 new cases have been confirmed in the country over the past day. More than 1,000 people were hospitalized, 145 patients died, and more than 5,000 Ukrainians recovered. The Minister of Health of Ukraine noted that such positive dynamics were achieved thanks to observance of quarantine restrictions.
Це перш за все виконання протиепідемічних заходів.
First of all, it concerns observance of the anti-epidemic measures that have been implied by the government. This is another confirmation that the weekend quarantine really worked, no matter what anyone said. We have also observed a reduction in virus dynamics and received positive dynamics in the number of infected people. That is, the number of those getting ill with COVID has reduced in comparison with the previous week.
The supply of drinking water will be reduced by another hour at the temporarily occupied Crimea starting next Monday. The local Kremlin control authorities explain this by saving water resources. In the city of Simferopol, Yalta and neighboring villages, water will be available 3 hours a day, according to local social networks. The supplies in the Ayansk water reservoir will be exhausted in 8 days. At the same time, the Ukrainian government notes that the supply of water to the peninsula through the North Crimean Canal will resume only after the occupation of the peninsula. How should one get rid of the OTV and do not harm nature? A mobile recyclables collection station has started working in Kyiv. Residents of the capital will not even have to search for it. 6 trucks run around the city every Saturday in search of broken tape recorders, cameras or wires. Our correspondents have the details.
A truck and several containers for recyclable materials. A mobile collection center for old equipment begins its work near one of the metro stations in Kyiv. It's early morning. However, someone has already brought an outdated printer, a mixer and a stereo system. Natalia is among the first who came here. She is getting rid of old cell phones.
You can't throw them to a trash bin because they pollute the environment, so I brought them for recycling. I read on the internet that there is a company that deals with the disposal of this waste, and I decided to bring them here.
Only 20 minutes pass and the containers are filled with a dozen electrical appliances. Some brought small packages of wires, others hand over entire arsenals. Zenida brought a full trunk of electrical waste.
We have brought an old computer, old TVs, which were standing in our garage.
They couldn't throw all this to scrap. Having got to know about the mobile collection stations, the woman immediately decided to get rid of the junk.
I know that it is not good to pollute the air. Well, how could I take it and throw it all away? It's very dangerous.
The idea to launch mobile collection stations for electrical waste was introduced by one of the companies engaged in the collection and disposal of household appliances. They say that many people in Kyiv find it inconvenient to take their garbage to a stationary collection point that work on weekdays. Having no specialized collection station nearby, they simply throw away the dangerous appliances to garbage. The initiators decided to change the situation. This stuff contains heavy metals and various dangerous chemicals such as lead, mercury, mercury, cadmium. When they are affected by precipitation, such as rain for instance, they are oxidized and become even more toxic. All these toxins can get into soils or groundwater, thus poisoning the environment. The collected recyclables will be sent to the storing station. There they will be disassembled into components and passed for processing. The mobile collection stations are scheduled to work every Saturday in the streets of Ukraine's capital. One can find out their route on the website of the Waste Management Center or on the company's Facebook page. Reported by Vadim Kramer, Valery Bakus, UATV News.
Lighthouse on Darel Island, horses and Archie the dog. In Kherson, a young artist transformed an old 56 meters long fence into an art piece. The artist tells 7 unique stories on 150 square meters of concrete, having used only a brush and acrylic paints. Now, this picture on the fence is considered one of the largest in Ukraine. Our correspondents saw it.
Вот моя работа.
This is my work. I spent almost 35 days creating it. For more than a month, Mikita has been drawing on the old fence. It's 56 meters long and almost 3 meters high. At first, the artist thought that painting 150 square meters of concrete is an impossible task. But as soon as he started, he realized that, on the contrary, there might be a lack of space for his work.
Я сначала
At first, I was terrified because I did not believe that I could do such a large volume of work, but gradually I got used to it somehow. This is the largest street mural in Kherson and one of the largest paintings in Ukraine. He's been drawing without a sketch for 10 hours a day. 7 completely unique stories took over 50 liters of acrylic paint.
это собака,
This is the dog that lives at our house with my relatives. He's our guard. And this is the Lighthouse from Darel. Halina lives in a house across the street. She says that the view from her window used to be dull because of the concrete fence. Now it impresses her with its beauty.
It is a pleasant to go down and see this beauty. This boy is truly talented.
The painting has become popular among residents of other parts of the city as well.
Херсон в целом очень серый город.
In general, Kherson is a dull and grey city. Even a small wall is already a big contribution, and it makes the city more interesting. According to the artist, the paint can last for 5 years on this fence. Mikita has lacquered it. Now the guy is already thinking of a project where he can draw on an even larger space. Reported by Vadim Kramer and Yanina Lebedeva, UATV News.
17th century temples and merchant estates in 3D. The mural depicting sightseeing route was drawn on the facade of one of the houses in Bratslav or Vinnytsia region. From now on, locals and tourists can choose their way without using paper maps. Our correspondents took a walk along one of the routes as well.
A long time ago, the town of Bratslav has been considered one of the main trading centers. There are still many potentially interesting objects remaining in the town till now. These are old estates of the Jewish merchants and temples of different denominations.
There are houses that have remained since old times, and they date back to the 17th century. We have Gothic-style buildings, Art Nouveau and Renaissance as well.
In order that tourists keep the path, a special mural map was drawn on one of the walls in the central street. It shows the exact location of 8 historical sites. The map was hand-drawn by local artists. The models of the buildings were made of clay, while the windows were painted with a light-reflecting paint.
Якщо підходити сюди ввечері,
If you come here in the evening, you could see that every window in every building glows. Small children can come up and look in that window as if someone lives there.
Tourists are supporting this idea. Thanks to the mural, I get to know Bratslav and its districts better. Well, it's very interesting. Locals say that the 3D map is now something they are proud of.
Патріотизм піднявся.
There is real patriotism in Bratslav. This wall used to look very ugly. In addition to mural, they also plan to install an information stand with the exact addresses of each object. Reported by Vadim Kramer, Arina Kantonistova, UATV News.
The paintings by local artists in the catacombs near Odesa have become the largest underground art object. our correspondent visited the underground gallery and is ready to share impressions about the art piece.
The area of the art space is being measured at a depth of 15 meters underground. 1 year ago, a national record was set here. This gallery in the catacombs was recognized as the deepest in Ukraine. Now, by adding installations of a luminous garden, they have become European champions.
Our measuring shows that the area of the art space is 114 meters, 40 centimeters. We did a survey, and according to our data, this is the longest underground art space in Europe. We have conducted a survey in all European countries.
The total length of the underground is 75 meters. The installations and paintings were made with glowing paint specially developed by artists.
It has a completely different content. While I have oil pens, it all had to be mixed. In the light you see oil paints, and turning off the light you get into a fairy tale, a cartoon. You're in a completely different reality.
The art gallery is located 13 kilometers from Odesa, in the village of Nerubaiske. It is here that one of the many entrances to the system of 2,500 labyrinths of the catacombs is located. Previously, stone was mined here, then the labyrinths of mines became a refuge for partisans. Tourists from all over the world come to see the Odesa underground now.
I think that it will be interesting for them to come and see this simply wonderful place, the art object.
Local artists are planning to expand the gallery and add new art objects to it. They say such a project is to overcome the world record. Reported by Vadim Kramer, Anna Horodentseva, UATV News.
That was our final story this hour. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. More updates on our official website, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages.